All right, welcome back into the Sons of UCF, episode number 167. Mike, in the very first time ever, we're going to record this live via video. So if you're listening to the sound of our voice, you could hit pause right now. You could go to our YouTube channel, and you're going to see Mike and I staring at each other through this thing where it says Jemias Pittman on the bottom, because we were efforting Jemias Pittman. He may show up with our show tonight. I'll take that off the screen now because that's awkward. So we were efforting Jemias Pittman. He may be with us here in a little bit, Mike. But as we await him, we figured we'd bring you our regularly scheduled program, Mike. So welcome back in episode 167. My name is Adam. As always, my friend and yours, Mr. UCF Mike, is back for another week. Mike, welcome back to the show. Welcome to the first ever video edition of the show.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this is a little weird. I know you just wanted to see my face again. You don't get enough of me on Thursday nights. Now you needed a little bit of me here today on Tuesday. I'm willing to help you out here. And I feel a little disadvantaged because usually when we record these things, you don't know it, but I'm like pacing around in the garage. I'm going back and forth. Okay. I've got my notes. I use my phone as you know, I can Google stuff as we go along. I can't do that now. So this is all off the top of the dome here. Let's
I got you covered. I got my trusty iPad here, which I use every time when you challenge me on a stat quickly that I don't have the answer to. So yeah, you're going to see the mechanics behind here. I've got papers everywhere. I've got stuff everywhere, but it'll be fun. So if you're listening, watching, whatever you're doing, make sure you're subscribing to all that stuff that we do. That's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, do all that stuff. Make sure you go to our website, twonightsmedia.com. for all of our content there. Make sure live show. This week we're doing Wednesday, Mike. So Wednesday, are you going to be there on Wednesday?
I plan on it. Yeah, it's tomorrow now. Back to back.
It is tomorrow. Yeah, this is Tuesday for those who aren't not watching now. Maybe you're watching after. This is Tuesday for Mike and I, and so we'll be on with Trace on Wednesday. Again, follow along with all that good jazz, and we'll keep you updated, Mike. Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna start talking about some stuff, and maybe we'll throw in an interview or two. If not, this will be probably the shortest version of the Sons of UCF show in history, and not a lot really going on, Mike, football wise. Tomorrow, Wednesday, National Signing Day. Typically, this was a huge event for UCF. This was a day that we were all waiting on to see who signed, but early signing day has really bastardized the late signing day, and obviously a bunch of transfers. As of right now, I don't even know if there's any names that UCF is considering for signing day, Mike. Are you excited? Are you expecting maybe a big boom or something? What do you think's going to happen on signing day tomorrow?
I'm not that excited. I actually forgot it was signing day. You just reminded me a couple of minutes ago, right before we started recording this. I don't know who's on the list that's ready to commit, right? I think pretty much everybody that was committing already did so a couple months ago when we did this whole dance. So I don't know who's left. Maybe we get a surprise. Maybe these guys have something up their sleeve. Maybe we get some new transfers or something coming in. But I don't know what to expect for tomorrow. I think there's a press conference coming up, so maybe the coaches will fill us in a little bit. But as of right now, I'm kind of with you. I have no idea what's happening.
Here's what we do know. Leighton Nelson, who was an offensive lineman from Orlando who had committed to UCF and got cold feet right before early signing day, said he was still committed to UCF and it was still an option, but he wanted to explore his options. A lot of hot rumors that he wanted to go to Florida. Turns out, Mike, he signed with Vanderbilt. So not necessarily sure if he has a map anywhere nearby, but Vanderbilt nowhere near Gainesville. So Leighton Nelson was a guy we were waiting on. I think there was another offensive tackle, Maldonado. I think he's not expected to sign with UCF as well. So those are kind of the two names from early signing period that we thought maybe would show up here during the regular or the late signing period. But turns out nothing to do there. Looks like tomorrow's press conference, the way UCF is building it, is it's going to be select new transfers that are going to take the mic and some of the coaching staff as well, including Gus Malzahn. So he will be there via Zoom. Obviously, I know a lot of us are still keeping his wife, Christy, in our prayers. Still not a lot of updates coming out of UCF. There's some rumors going around that maybe things are trending in the right direction. Obviously, we don't know that officially, so I don't want to put that out there as public, Mike. But Gus will be there in his first, I guess, appearance in the last couple of weeks. He'll be there via Zoom. So hopefully that's a good sign to see Gus talking even for a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be good to hear from Gus. Hopefully we get a good update on his wife, Christy. That's the important thing. That's what he needs to take care of, not really this recruiting stuff. But as for those guys you mentioned, Leighton Nelson, he got the right colors, right? But he ended up at Vanderbilt. He got the black and gold. Are they really black? They're not really black, are they? I don't even know.
I think they're black. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
For sure.
And, you don't fault the kid. It's a good school. Academically, it's a good school. If he wants to win football games, he probably picked the wrong place because Vanderbilt is the doormat of the SEC. As we all know, they've been that for a long time. But, maybe he's going after an education or something, or maybe somebody just gave him a nice bag of money over in Vanderbilt. We know that they've got money over there too. So that could have been a deciding factor for him. The other kid, Maldonado, who knows where he ends up. But we also filled in a bunch of offensive linemen in the transfer portal not too long ago. We brought in Swoboda, a 6'10" guy. So maybe they see that happening and they kind of get a little scared to come in. Who knows? But, I'm sure we're going to fill in this roster as needed. We still have a few scholarships available. So that's not just going to go to waste. They will fill those spots with a couple people. May not be tomorrow, but tomorrow is just the earliest you can sign. You can sign after tomorrow too, right?
Yes, I think so. Depends on when you sign, I guess, if you're eligible or not. There may be some loopholes to that too, but yeah, you probably can. But I mean, look, we're going to get more transfers. That's what's going to happen as well. So we're going to get more guys who are. This is the beauty of the live video. Mike's clearly distracted. Something's happening. We don't know what it is. Someone's clearly walking in his purview. You saw him go from left to right there. So you're gonna hear this stuff live here. Mike seems to be okay. He's nodding along. He feels good. No, I think what you're going to see though, Mike, is you're going to see more transfers come out after spring practices. Kids around the country are going to recognize maybe they're not on a depth chart someplace. They're not going to get the playing time they thought. Coaches' dominoes might fall. So I hope Gus is saving some of these last couple of spots for maybe a couple guys to shake free. We talk about this every time we talk transfers. Mike Hughes showed up like 15 minutes before the first game and he made the roster. Trey Neal left for Nebraska like right after spring practice started, almost a couple weeks before the season. So you do see these late transfers. My hope is that Gus is saving some of that for guys who may pop free. Just today, a 5-star running back from Alabama who went to Alabama has now put his name in the portal. So I hope Gus is saving some of those spots for some of those guys.
And you got a couple of guys that we were talking about maybe being a preferred walk-on. The quarterback at Cocoa, Davin Widner, right? He may end up with a scholarship at this point. If we have a couple spots left, why not? If you want to secure him. I've seen that kid play live. He impressed me that day when I saw him in the championship game. So, Gus will find a way. And, I know he's been very busy right now with his family and all that stuff, and that's what he should be doing. But the rest of the staff knows who we're going after. They've been in contact with these guys. If we don't sign a couple guys tomorrow, I'm sure this roster is going to get filled in the next couple weeks.
Well, Gus obviously made a play, and the entire staff made a play this past weekend. Like, obviously, you and I weren't there, but Hometown Heroes, an event took place on campus. I guess there was a 7-on-7 tournament. There was upwards of like 100 kids there through all the different classes, walking around campus. You're seeing some stuff on social media, some guys posting pictures of their photo shoots and everything. But 100+ guys on campus, obviously all talented players. A lot of guys UCF is interested in. Like, what a time to be alive, right? When we've got our campus is kind of the buzz of recruiting for an entire day. Hopefully some kids will be impressed with UCF. Again, you're seeing some guys who are saying UCF is their choice, but I know we didn't see a ton. You saw some pictures, I'm sure, on social media. What are your thoughts on this hometown hero type thing? And what do you think the long-term benefit will be for UCF?
Well, this is what Gus said he was going to do when he came in, is just establish the Orlando area, get the kids that were local to UCF and keep them home. We saw him do that this past year. The recruiting class that just passed with all the local kids, the 3 guys from Seminole, and he's starting to do that. But he came in late for even that class. He admitted it. The 22 class he was late on. The 23 and 24s, that's the ones he's really going after. And it started with this Hometown Hero event this past weekend. I'm sure. I mean, people were expecting booms coming out of this weekend. That wasn't going to happen. These kids are not going to be committing until next year. A couple of them not for another 2 years. So you just got to be a little patient on that. But these kids got their first taste of campus. Some of them, they got to see what UCF's all about. They got to see the facilities. They got to meet the coaches. And this is really where the relationships start to build. The coaches start building these things with these guys and getting to know them a little bit more, getting to know their families. And I think it's going to pay big dividends in the future.
Yeah, it's you said the word relationship, I think, in there someplace. I wasn't listening, but I think you said relationship, and that would be that's the key of this, right? Is to get the relationship with coaches, with some of these players, even some of their teammates, right? To start talking through. We saw the Hendersons and Cam Moore kind of really bond together. You saw TJ Bullard bring Xavier Townsend from Tampa Prep Berkeley. So you're seeing hopefully the teammates who get out there and can recruit each other, and it's all about building that positive buzz and some slick marketing. You get some photo shoots out there. This is how you build inroads. This is how you make that sort of foray into letting the local kids know, hey, we're a destination for you. Check out our campus. Tell your friends, tell your coaches, and we'll see what it nets out of it. Right? I don't know what what our batting average on this needs to be to make it a success. If we get 4 guys out of that may be well worth it if it's the right 4 guys. But you got to love at least the creativity. I don't know how many other schools are doing things like this, but you got to love the creativity of UCF putting all this stuff together.
They had Bounce House weekend a couple months ago. Now it's Hometown Hero weekend. They're going to start coming up with all these things to get these guys in, get them excited. Basically, it's just getting them to know the school and just introducing them to everything. So I think it's a good idea. And it was right before signing day, even though those are not the kids that were signing this year. It's still a good thing to have, a good event. I didn't even know about the 7-on-7 tournament and all that stuff that you just informed me about. So that's pretty cool, too. You get kids that weren't even here on official visits still get to come and see the campus.
Yeah. Well, another quick update, Mike. The ACC announced their schedules, and I know some of this stuff can change. Obviously, we have a couple of games with ACC opponents, so this is at least what's being said by the ACC. So maybe these dates lock in and stay firm. Louisville is slated for September 10th, according to their schedule, which would make that a Saturday game. And then Georgia Tech slated for the 24th, which would also make that a Saturday game. Now, things can change. Obviously, it's probably not official until UCF puts it out, Mike. But I know that we've been thinking through one of these games going to be played. Saturday games are probably, in some respects, preferential, right? You get more people on campus, better game atmosphere. So 2 Saturday games, Louisville and Georgia Tech. That's a pretty advantageous schedule at some point, correct?
Yeah, everybody loves the Saturday, but they love the Saturday night games. Now, if one of these is a noon kickoff, people are going to lose their minds. But it's cool, and it gives people from out of town no excuses to go up there and make the trip on Saturday. You don't have to take off work on Friday. You don't have to leave early, anything like that. So it should be packed houses both of those weekends. Very good time. You should still expect a couple Friday night games here on the schedule. The Cal game for now is scheduled for the Black Friday. I'm sure we're going to get another one. Maybe the Cincinnati game, maybe a Memphis game, something like that will be on Friday night. So expect 1 or 2 of those, maybe even a Thursday night down the road.
Well, the AC has not released their schedule. You would hope that would come relatively quickly and get some of that stuff finalized. So they have not yet released schedules. So again, things could change, I suppose, but at least 2 dates that are being at least confirmed or are out there. Whether or not they're true or not, who knows? But on the ACC side, Mike, but not a heck of a lot outside of that going on in football. Obviously, kind of the down period. Man, we got super spoiled last year because last year we had coaching staff and players and transfers and other coaches, and we had just a bunch of stuff last year. Now we're in the dog days. Now all of a sudden it got here quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's basketball season. We're right in the heart of that. And
yeah,
a lot of things you want to get into there. We got baseball coming around the corner just in a couple of weeks. So we're not in the dog days yet. The dog days really are going to be June, July, before we get to training camp, before we really get in those footage of the 5-yard passes and a couple of field goals during practice. Those are always fun times in August. But right now, there's still things going on. We got other sports that are doing well. The women's basketball team is really doing well. Softball is supposed to have a good year coming up. So we're still okay right now. We try to pepper in some guest interviews every once in a while. This week, it doesn't look like it's happening.
TBD. Yeah, TBD. You're going to see it all go down live. This is behind the scenes footage of the Sons of UCF. My quick update from the world of the NFL. Jim Harbaugh reportedly is interested and would accept the Vikings job if they offer it. There's some rumors that the Vikings would offer said job. Now, obviously, nothing's official until Adam Schefter tweets it. So we'll see if that actually comes out to be true or not, Mike. But Jim Harbaugh to the Vikings opens an interesting domino in the coaching ranks. Your boy Luke Fickell, although an Ohio State man, would he be interested in going to Michigan? Does that open a domino for Cincinnati? So maybe some conference tie-ins there. Again, a lot of things still have to take place, but Jim Harbaugh at least is potentially open to it. There's some rumors on Twitter that they're already in contract negotiations. So maybe a domino falls coaching-wise in the NFL.
Yeah, the Harbaugh thing is not coming to a surprise to many people. I'm surprised it's the Vikings and not the Dolphins. I thought for sure as soon as they get let go of Brian Flores, they were going to get Jim Harbaugh, especially with the Stephen Ross ties that they have there to Michigan. But, Michigan is not getting caught sleeping either. They know this is coming. They, I'm sure, already have a list of guys that they're ready to offer the job to, or at least I want to speak to. Maybe Fickell's one of them. And I'm sure the agents of those guys have been in contact with Michigan. So, yeah, we're going to see something else happen. Maybe they just take somebody that's already there on staff, promote somebody up there. But chances are a school like Michigan, they got the big bucks. They're going to have to go after a big-name coach. to keep that ball rolling. These guys just made the playoffs for the first time ever. Michigan's finally looked like they're on their way up. Now they're losing their coach. We've seen that act before here. UCF goes undefeated and the coaches leave. So I'm not going to feel bad for Michigan, but if it does take Luke Fickell away, then that's not a bad thing for us either.
Well, again, some people are saying that no decision has been made, but to your point about the Vikings, this could be a leverage play, right? This could be Harbaugh saying, hey, I'm going to take the Vikings job to get the Dolphins to offer him a job or do something faster or get him in the mix too. So either way, Harbaugh seems to be motivated to get himself out of Michigan. Mike, let me ask you this question. Again, Luke Fickell, if he's a name, Ohio State guy, would you be okay with a UCF guy going to coach the Cows? Is that just sacrilege? Are you never allowed back on campus if you take the head job at the Cows?
And that rivalry has been around a lot longer.
That's a pretty real rivalry, correct?
Right. We've played the Cows 12 times. These guys are talking about 110 times probably. Yeah. Would I be okay with it if Mckenzie Milton was the head coach of the Cows or something like that? Oof. I mean, it wouldn't sit well, but that's on. I guess that's on your own school. They had a chance to get him. Ohio State could always go hire Luke Fickell if they wanted to, but they're happy with the guy they have right now. Can you really fault the guy for going there if they're going to pay him millions of dollars and be a head coach? I know Fickell's already a head coach of a playoff team, so it's a little different. You talk about Milton going to the Cows. You figure they're probably in the dumpster as it is at all times. So going to a losing program like that, I don't know if it's the same thing. It wouldn't feel good. I didn't feel good when Milton went to Florida State just to play for a year. So for him to go coach the Cows and then come back and play against us on a yearly basis or whatever it is, it would not be fun. At least I'd say that.
It'll be interesting to see if he actually, if that comes to fruition, if that's the guy. Do they go into the NFL and find somebody else? Who knows? But Jim Harbaugh rumors starting out there. So we said that this would happen. The NFL still has openings. I think the Texans are still open. The Dolphins are still open. The Saints are still open. The Bears are filled. The Giants are filled. So there's still a bunch of openings out there. So I guess you never really know. Jaguars are probably going to be open forever. So a bunch of openings still out there, Mike. So stay tuned. You never know who will shake free. You mentioned basketball. I guess we got to talk about it. We had an opportunity, Mike, Saturday night at the Edition Financial Arena, the Dungeon, whatever you call that place. Number 7 Houston comes to town. A nice crowd on hand, over 8,100 people there. It's a pretty nice crowd. It was, I guess, Legends Day, I think is what they call it, where you had a bunch of UCF alumni come back and be honored. So great to see some of the old-time players back on court, back on campus. A lot of good energy. Again, a number 7th ranked Houston team comes in, Mike, and it was a fight for a while. And final score probably not as close as the game was at periods of time, but Houston 63, UCF 49. I know you watched this thing pretty closely, Mike. That loss now drops UCF to 12-7 overall, 4-5 in conference play, which does not feel like a really good record. Your first initial thoughts on the Houston basketball loss?
We knew Houston was going to be a tough one. I mean, this is the best team probably we're going to play all year. Coming into our house, the place was electric. We had runs. We had our chances. We fought. It was the late run that they made at the end of the half and the late run there at the end of the game, which was what good teams do. They put us away, and there was nothing we could do about it. Some bonehead mistakes in there mixed in, some costly turnovers. Brandon Mahan, you can't inbound the ball and then touch it first before somebody else does. I'm sorry, I've never seen that before. This season has had a couple of moments like that where things are like, what the heck just happened? That was one of them. But we had a shot, man. There was 4 minutes left in the game. We're down 6 with the ball. We had a 3 go up in the air. I put my hands up ready to celebrate 3. And if that shot goes down, the place erupts. And who knows what happens after that. But we missed. They get the ball. I think they hit a 3 after that, go down 9. Good night. See you tomorrow. I wasn't expecting to win this game. But, we've seen it play well, play to the level of our opponents. We played well against good teams. We played Auburn pretty tight for a while. We played Oklahoma well. We beat up Michigan. If we had hit our shots more, it might have been a closer game, maybe a different story. But just too much firepower for Houston for us to handle.
Yeah, we've said this week after week. If we are not hitting shots, which, spoiler alert, you need to do in basketball, we are not going to play well, Mike. Let me give you some of these stat lines. Isaiah Adams, goose egg, 0 points on the night. Brandon Mahan, you aforementioned Brandon Mahan, shot 1 of 12. He had a total of 2 points. Darren Green and Darius Perry both shot 4 of 10, so 40% from the field. And so those being some of your top scorers, your team leaders, if they're going to be that cold, obviously that's going to be a tough night. You had some contributions. CJ Walker pumped in 8 points. I like Bakke. He seems like a really good player. He has struggled finishes around the rim. I mean, he had a couple of bunnies right around the rim, and he just struggles actually with converting some of those. He ended up 3 of 5 on field goals, but he had a couple where it's just like, man, you're literally right there. Just lay that thing in, and couldn't really figure it out, especially in the first half. And UCF just comes up short. I mean, this big rotation we thought we had has been completely shrunk now with no Tony Johnson, no Sean Mobley. Again, Isaiah Adams really hasn't. We've asked each week, BJ Taylor, what's the reason for Adams' slump? We keep saying confidence, see the ball go in. He just isn't doing that. He had 2 total rebounds. I mean, he didn't really offer much of the game. So once again, if UCF isn't hitting on all cylinders, this is the team we get. And that's the challenge is we could be hitting on all cylinders, right? Man, could go 11 for 12. We win this thing by 25 points, and none of us would be shocked by that. But he goes 1 for 12, and we lose by 13, and we're like, yeah, that makes sense, Mike. But 4 and 5 in conference is just not going to cut it. That's where we're in some trouble here. Is that we're going to get a really bad seed going into the tournament. We're going to have to play one of these tougher schools very early first round, and we're going to need one of those shooting nights where we're on fire to try to advance. And right now, I think game to game, it's a coin flip on what you're going to get, unfortunately.
And you're going to have to play that extra game when your legs are going to be done by the time, if you get far enough, if you get to the semifinals, you get to the final game, you're going to be cooked, right? That's the key. That's why you want that bye in the first round. You want the easier matchup. You want to try to avoid Houston until the final if possible. So you want it to get in that 2 or 3 spot, which is where we were talking about all along. If you can sneak into the 3, but that's not looking good right now. Where are we at right now? 6th place, 7th place in this conference? Yeah. We got a long way to go. So we have 9 games left, I believe, in conference. We've got to go. If you want a realistic shot at a top 4 seed, top 5 seed going in, what do we got to do? 6 and 3, 7 and 2, something like that. And not easy games left on this schedule either. We got Houston again. We've got Memphis again. We've got Wichita again. Cincinnati, which we haven't seen yet. So these are not going to be the easy teams in this conference we still have to play.
No, next up we have the Cows on Thursday night. Then we go at Memphis, home Wichita. Tulsa is tossed in there as a makeup game. Then we're at Houston in the Final Fours, ECU, Cincinnati, and then at Tulane, Tulsa. So, I mean, we're going to have to win. One more loss, I think, would be fantastic. If you said maybe we had 2, maybe we're okay. But we're going to have to run the table pretty nicely here in these last, 4 or 5 weeks of the season if we want to at least get a better seed in the tournament. I know we were initially on that first bubble out situation, right? I think we're the first 4 out on Joe Lunardi's thing, and that was pre the Houston loss. So 12 and 7 overall, 4 and 5 in conference. So, Mike, it's just, there's going to have to be some consistency. Unfortunately, right now we're not seeing it anywhere.
No, it's not looking good. And none of these games can you really say that's an easy win. As we've seen already, the Cows were supposed to be an easy win. They beat us up by 20. Temple was supposed to be a game we could have handled after we beat them the first time and then looked sloppy against them the second time. So I could see this team getting hot and going 7 and 2. I could also see us going straight into the tank and going 2 and 7. And at that point, what do you really say about this team after that? If we finish this season at 500 overall or right around 500, it's the same story that we've seen the last couple of years.
It's the inconsistency for me, right? That's the challenge. Darius Johnson, who had been playing really well. In some respects, we thought he was the leader in the team, Mike. 0 points against Houston. Ty Freeman, a young guy who we thought brought a ton of energy off the bench and played really well, played a total of 3 minutes against Houston. So it's the inconsistency from game to game. You don't know what performance you're going to get. You don't know which guys are going to play. Dre Fuller, who'd been playing pretty well, did not play in this game. Don't know if he was injured. Don't know if it was a coach's decision. He didn't even crack the floor. So it's kind of the inconsistency from game to game. And I don't know if this is Johnny Dawkins trying to push buttons and find the right mix, the right combos. But we're pretty darn late into the season at this point. If we don't know who our guys are, what our rotations are, what our rhythms are, what are we doing? And this is what we're going to get. We're going to get, unfortunately, performances where we lose to Houston, which is a darn good team, by the way. So I don't want to make it seem like, this was a bad loss by any stretch, but we're going to lose these games by 14 to guys like Houston. And then we got to hope to hell that we don't lose something like a Tulsa game or, like an ECU game at home, because that's going to be the backbreakers if we end up losing those kind of games. Then you're going to see the Mike JP Gilbert combination hot seat just start, flaming hot Cheetos right there.
I mean, we're talking about an ECU team that was up 20 points on us just a couple of weeks ago. That's no gimme game. I don't care if it's at home. We know the troubles we've had at Tulsa. The first time we ever beat them over there, I believe, was last year. So yeah. Wichita State, we've never beaten, home or away. This is not going to be an easy finish. The hot seat is going to start warming up, man. It is what it is. At this point, the people that want to protect Johnny all along, I was thinking about this the other day. This is like a political debate, right? You got the Republicans and you got the Democrats, and neither one of them are budging. They're set in their thing. Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter the rest of the way. If Johnny wins out from here to the end, you're still going to have the people that want to put him on the hot seat. And if he doesn't win the game for the rest of the year, you're still going to have the people defending him. And it doesn't make sense to me. Information changes when things change in the season and you see different things, you're allowed to change your mind, right? And I said, for me, it's always been about results. Get me to the dance. I'm not even asking for a win at this point. Just get me to the dance is all I wanted for a successful season. I would never say anything, but at this point, it's not looking good. And, to keep it political, it's like Johnny's had 2 terms, right? His first term, the first 3 years, we go to the NIT. He has an injury-riddled team the second year that he gets the most out of, and they play pretty well. And then you get the team that goes to the dance and wins the game, and you feel that upward trajectory going the right way. And then the second term, the last 3 years, we're a 500 ball club. And we really haven't been anything great. And it seems like we're just kind of just treading water at this point just to stay alive. So the hot seat will be coming if this thing gets off the rails here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think that to your point, I don't know that I have a formed opinion just yet on Johnny, right? But I think both sides of this political aisle, this argument you're talking about, have to be honest in that conversation, right? Like the Johnny Dawkins truthers have to go, hey, listen, we're not quite breaking through that hump. We seem to be at a stagnant spot. Yes, it's better than maybe it used to be. And yes, we're still quote unquote competitive. And yes, this is a really good conference. And yes, some of his players have been hurt and, we're not going to get anybody better. All that stuff can be true, by the way, right? And then the anti-Dawkins crowd can go, well, wait a minute. Why can't we get better? Why can't we beat some of these teams we're supposed to beat? I think both those things can be true. To your point, it's like neither one wants to have that honest conversation, right? The Johnny truthers don't want to hear any of that. Oh, no. He's perfect. Who are we going to get? Stability. It's program, it's funding, it's all this other stuff. And the Johnny haters think that there's just nothing he's ever going to do to pull people out of it. He's not fired up enough. I just think to your point, there needs to be an honest conversation. And it's probably not prudent to have it now in the middle of the season at 12-7 to make a full decision. But to your point, end of the year, information's available. We should sit down and go, hey, here's where we're at. Is this where we want to be at? What are our options? How do we think we can move forward out of this? We're going to the Big 12. It's a damn good basketball conference. We have to be positioned to be successful in that space. And if that means things have to change, and if that's Johnny, I don't know. If that's staff around him, maybe. If that's budget stuff, who knows? But I think both sides have to come to the table and go, okay, you know what? This isn't great. Let's let it play out and see where we're at. But I think, to me, it feels like more and more people are getting to that anti side than the pro side.
Well, yeah, the way the season is trending. And the argument you hear brought up in favor of Johnny all the time is this is the most successful era of UCF basketball in the modern times, whatever. He's got the best winning percentage. Well, guess who has the best winning percentage in football of all time? And that's Josh Heupel. And there's not a UCF fan among us that said, right now, we're not better off after Josh Heupel than we were when he was here. Even though when he was here, nobody was really saying, get him out. Even though the seat was warming up a little bit the last season he was here, you can see things going the wrong direction. Well, I see things going south too in the basketball program, and you're going to have to start asking those questions. Is Johnny the guy to take us to the Big 12? And right now, the way the team's been going, you just mentioned how we're still trying to find our rotation 20 games into the season. I mean, things like that can't happen. And this team has not had injuries. And this is not a young team either. This is a veteran team that, this year was supposed to be the year. We've had 2 rebuilding seasons following the tournament. This year was supposed to be something, even if you say we didn't make the tournament, be in the top 4 of this conference, not lose to teams like USF by 20, not lose a game to Temple that you should win, those are the ones that drive you nuts. You're going to take the loss to Houston, fine. But the other games, we can't have that at this point in the season.
Well, here's the other thing. And I know you want to take a season at a time, but we're losing Mahan. We're losing Perry. Like, we're losing a lot of guys off the team that are big scorers. Darren Green Jr., who knows what his fate will be if he'll test the NBA waters. Isaiah Adams, transfer portal, collision course, seems like a really good spot. So this team is going to get younger in a hurry. And sure, maybe there's some youth that comes in. I know there's a couple of the Hendricks twins are coming in from down South Florida, and they're going to be hopefully good players for us. Baca, I think, is gone after this year because I think he's just a one-year transfer. So, I mean, basically outside of Darius Johnson, the entire starting lineup goes away. So now Johnny's going to be in a rebuild mode with a bunch of young guys. And is he the right guy to lead that rebuild? I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but and I know money is a problem, but if he's not the right guy to lead a veteran-laden team, can he start a rebuild? Because we're not going to get any more talented next year unless we have just a slam dunk recruiting class and bring in a ton of transfers. So this was his year, right? This was supposed to be the season where I think 98% of the scoring was returning, and this was supposed to be the most depth and most talent-laden team we had, and we're 12-7, 4-5. I don't know whose head needs to roll for that, but I think someone has to stop and go, how did this happen? Because we were supposed to have everything we needed on paper.
Right. And if you're saying it's not Johnny's fault, then it's the player's fault, right? And if it's the player's fault, well, Johnny brought these players in. These are his guys, finally. The team that he took to the dance weren't his guys. Those were Donnie Jones guys. Taco, BJ Taylor, Chad Brown. All those guys were not guys that Johnny brought into this program. These are the guys he's brought in, and these are the guys that are going 500 year after year. And next year, we're not bringing it. Schools like Kentucky and Duke, they can reload with 3 freshmen, and they bringing in McDonald's All-Americans. We're not doing that here. We're bringing in guys that can play, but they're going to take a year or two to develop. And that just means the rebuild goes from this is year 3 to now, okay, now you got to give them next year because it's a young team. Oh, and then the year after that, we're in the Big 12 and we're getting stomped on. I'm sorry, man, but it's not looking good right now.
Well, we'll see where we are because this can turn around in a hurry. The Cows coming to Orlando Thursday night, a revenge game. Obviously, they beat us up handily over there in Tampa. So I'd love to sort of see the energy on this one on the start of the game. We haven't started off really any game, frankly, super, super well. So can we start off in a good spot? Can we play a full game this time around? Will the crowd be into it for the Cows? Can we get that revenge that we're looking for? So I think we'll know pretty early on if we get swept by the Cows, Mike, and especially if we get embarrassed. Oof. I mean, it was already bad enough after the first one, but if we get embarrassed again at home against the Cows, that's not good for anybody.
No, and we talk to BJ Taylor every week now. He's become a friend of the show. He never lost to the Cows. I think he was like 8-0 at all time in his years there. Those are games you have to win, right? And we talk about in football all the time, the importance of the rivalry. In football, we don't want to just win. We want to win by more than 64-12 one of these days. That's the next step. But in basketball, we got to beat these guys. You can't get swept against them. Last year, we lost a game to them. We're losing a game to them again this year. If we lose both of them, that itself, to me, light the seat up because it's getting late early around here.
Again, still plenty of season left, right? Obviously, there's still a bunch of games UCF can put together a nice run and at least make some noise heading into the tournament. And then, to your point, more information will be available for us to review and figure out the course of the next couple of years for UCF basketball. But as of right now, again, the ship is definitely rocky, but things can turn around. So to be clear, there's still hope. Like, let's keep watching games. Let's keep rooting for the Knights. Again, that starts on Thursday. Is that game on TV, Mike? It is an ESPN Plus game on Thursday. So get back to your ESPN Plus. And then Saturday is an ESPN2 game, 8 p.m. At Memphis, a team that we beat at home, a team that's had kind of a rocky year. So we'll see what they can bring, but they're always a tough out, particularly at home. And then Wichita, Tulsa. So still some season left to play. We'll see what kind of fight these guys have left, Mike. I mean, for a lot of these guys, this could be their last year. I obviously Mahan and some of these guys, I don't know if Mahan's been to the tournament. I think he was with Texas A&M ahead of time. So this may be some of these guys' only shot to get to a tournament. So let's see what kind of fight we get. Maybe this is Johnny's opportunity to save his job.
It's one at a time at this point. You can't look ahead to Memphis because that is going to be a tough one. We've never played well at Memphis. But this one against the Cows, we got to get first. It's a rivalry game. Season is almost on the line. You lose this one, and if you go on the road to lose to Memphis, that's what, a 3-game losing streak right in the middle of this. this is the stretch that we talked about before the season started. This 6-game stretch. Now you throw in the Tulsa game into the middle of it. These are tough times, man. We already lost at Wichita. We lost to Houston. Doesn't seem to be getting better anytime soon.
Well, that's your basketball update, Mike. It's not great. Again, a tough loss against a good Houston team. There's opportunity to turn this thing around in a little bit. So let's see what happens on Thursday with the Cows. Time for a live read, Mike. Do you want to? I don't know if you got your papers available. I don't know if you're ready for Paper and Lace. Your good friends at Paper and Lace. Maybe you want to share a little bit more about what they're offering to our viewers now, our listeners and our viewers of the Sons of UCF.
That's right. And now that we're doing these video shows, I'm going to have to go over to the Paper Lace factory over there and grab a couple samples. Maybe I can show you guys what you're missing out on, what you need to get in on. If you have a big event coming up, if you have a wedding, you have a big anniversary party, you're throwing a big Super Bowl party next week, and you want to send out some fancy invitations, you call my sister Michelle, 954-597-6426. She will set you up with exactly what you need. She designs them custom made just for you. Doesn't matter how many you need. It doesn't matter where you live. Anywhere in the world, she can hook you up. Give her a call. Check out the website, paperandlaceboutique.com, and get back to me. Let me know how awesome she is. She's way better at her job than I am at mine. And she's been doing this now for a few years, and she's very successful with it. Give her a call, 954-597-6426. Mention the Sons of UCF. Get 10% off your first order.
Where are we at with the Mckenzie Milton sponsorship? Have we made any inroads there?
I have not reached out to Mckenzie. It is still new. He's just busy. Yeah, obviously. He's now going to be a father.
Yeah.
He has not been messing around here. He's got a lot of big events coming up.
Yeah.
He's got some big time events coming up. Maybe he's going to need some birth announcements or something, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll try to get in touch with Mckenzie and see what we can do for him.
All right, paperandlaceboutique.com. And exciting news, Mike. We will officially announce more of this probably next week, but you're seeing it on screen if you're watching. We have welcomed a brand new sponsor to the Sons of UCF. We'll give you more details on what they're offering, but if you want to get an early sneak peek, we are happy to have partnered with Manscaped. And for those of you who may have just chuckled or snickered a little bit, I got to tell you right now, Mike and I got our care packages from Manscaped yesterday and today, and this is some legit product that you're going to want to check out. So Mike and I have some homework to do to test all this stuff out for everybody, give you our honest opinions and reviews. But just quick heads up, Valentine's Day around the corner. So ladies who enjoy the Sons of UCF, maybe a product you want to look into, Manscaped for your significant other. We'll get promo codes, discount codes. You see them on the screen if you're watching now. So just a little precursor, Mike, but more to come on that. But excited to have Manscaped as part of the Sons of UCF family.
Yeah, you know what? I got my package today. And
here we go.
I have been waiting for it because we've been in negotiations with these guys. You told me a package was coming. Finally, the deal was struck. And I was holding out for a while. I needed to Manscaped myself, and I did. I went in there. The product was great. I loved exactly what it did. I'm nice and clean now. It came with all the stuff, all the accessories I needed. So I can't wait to keep using it and let you guys know how great it is. And if you're a guy and you're not, keeping it clean a little bit down there, I don't know what you're doing. This is not the 20s and the 30s. Well, actually, it is the 20s. What am I thinking? It is the 2020s. This ain't 100 years ago. You need to start taking care of yourself. Your wife's going to appreciate it. Your girlfriend will love you for it. And women, you can use the product too. I mean, it's not just for men, even though it's called Manscaped. Anybody can use this thing. It's just, it's an electric razor. So
among others, among other great products, there's lotions, there's creams, there's sprays, there's all kinds of accessories there. They say cleanliness is next to godliness, Mike. So perhaps it's a good thing, but more to come on that. Typically we would do some commercial break music right now, but this thing's off the rails. Let's just roll right through this, Mike. Last week we introduced a new segment that took over the nation, and this is when we read your tweets and we decided whether these tweets belonged on Twitter, should remain on Twitter, or if these are tweets that should go into something that rhymes with Twitter. We had some really good feedback last week, Mike. I know you are at a disadvantage. You don't have all of your accessories in front of you. I don't know if you have any tweets. So I've got some I can kind of read through for you if you want to opine on whether you think these tweets should go.
All right, yes. I can't access Twitter or else you'll lose me here on the video feed, so I have no access to my phone. Go ahead, hit me with it. I didn't know we were playing this game again this week.
Yeah, we're just gonna do this on the fly, Mike. So this is Kobe Perry. Kobe is a defensive back who just signed with UCF, transferred from I think Austin P. And this is his tweet, Mike, a little while ago. National Signing Day tomorrow. I hope those players with UCF offers make the right decision to come here, be a part of something special. I've been to 4 institutions in my college career. I can truly say coming to UCF was the best decision I ever made. Does that belong on Twitter or does that belong in the flusher?
No, that's clearly belongs on Twitter. He's just doing some recruiting for UCF, bringing people in here. But 4 colleges he's already been to. This guy's like Tate Martell. Is that our version of Tate Martell we have on this team? But yeah, no, that tweet is fine.
Better than Tate Martell,
I've seen a few different recruits. And we like it when guys that are committed here or guys that are already here, letting other kids know, hey, this is the place to be. Making a college decision is one of the biggest things you're going to have to do as a 17, 18-year-old kid. And, they need all the guidance they can get and the opinions of people that are here. If people were here and unhappy with it, they wouldn't say anything. But the guys that love being here, they're going to go out, they're going to recruit, get the best teammates they can. So I like the tweet. Keep it on Twitter.
Yeah, interesting. I like how the transfer guys come in and they seem to buy into what UCF's selling, right? We saw a bunch of guys. Bowser back for another year, super senior year. Brandon Johnson, had some great things to say about UCF. So I like how these guys come in. They ingratiate themselves in Knight Nation. They make themselves part of the family, and they even though it may be a quote unquote group of 5 school in some respects, although for Kobe Perry, I guess it's kind of maybe a step up from a conference perspective. But I think it's cool that these guys come in and they legitimately have a lot of positive things to say about UCF. I think that's hopefully telling about the culture that Gus and that staff are building.
Yeah, absolutely. And the local kids you want to keep here, guys, that you want kids that are going to be here, that want to be here, that want to spend the next 4 or 5 years here. I know the transfer portal is going to throw that for a loop, but, guys that really love the school and are committing to the school, not just to a coach or to a position coach or things like that, but they come here, they see the campus, they say, this is where I want to spend the next 4 years.
All right, next up, I don't think we follow this guy, but he somebody that we follow retweeted him. This is Telly at Tells YK. Not gonna lie, if I pay $6,000 for a Super Bowl ticket, they gotta let me play the first quarter. Like, does that belong on Twitter, or should that be flushed?
It's the guy's making a joke about the price, and that's fine. I don't have really much of a problem with that tweet. The prices are absurd. I did check before they even knew who the opponents were in the Super Bowl. I checked StubHub just for craps and giggles and see what the prices would be. And yet, the cheapest ticket to get in at the point was about $8,000, and that was before the home team knew that they were in the Super Bowl. I wonder what the prices are now. It's probably even gone up from there. So, if you have the money to do it, do it. But that's a little too rich for my blood. Even to see my favorite team. I did used to say all the time, just one time I would like to go to the Super Bowl if the Giants were in it. They've been in 5. I never made it to any of them. They're way too much money. So yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it in the future either.
Well, it sucks because a lot of NFL fans are diehard fans, right? I mean, every Sunday, every Monday night, whatever. I mean, you're watching your team, you're doing what you got to do. And yet, when the biggest game comes around, if your team gets into the biggest game, I mean, you're typically priced out of a lot of these things. I know they always say that the Super Bowl has become more of a corporate event. And I know there's probably some cheap tickets and they give away like 1,000 tickets to, military members or first responders, which is great. But it does suck that it becomes more of a corporate style event than really a fan driven event.
$6,000 for one ticket, a once in a lifetime opportunity to see your team, maybe. But if you're going by yourself or not, you got to talk somebody else into going with you. That's also going to spend $6,000. And by the way, you're sitting in the worst seats in the house for $6,000. It's not like you're sitting right up front. So, what's the most you would pay UCF national championship game? Orange Bowl. That may not be a cheap ticket either. One day, a couple $1,000 maybe. So hopefully we'll have that dilemma in the future, right?
Yeah, I'd be willing to pay a significant sum of money to get to that game for sure. Yeah. I don't know what it would be, but I'd be willing to pay $6K seems a little excessive right now, but you could probably talk me somewhere in that ballpark if that, don't buy me a Christmas gift. We won't go on vacation this year. I mean, you'd have to do a lot of bartering probably with the finance committee at your personal house there. But I'd be willing to at least go in with a prospectus on how I can go to the game.
But you're not bringing the wife and kids. I mean, you're not times that
no,
thing
not
by
at that
4.
price. No. I would need Robert Aronoff to buy one of those boxes again or whatever he was talking about. But no, it seems unlikely that at that rate. No, that's not.
And you're hoping for a local game, the Orange Bowl, something you can drive to. Otherwise, if you're in the Rose Bowl, then you got to factor in flights and hotels and all that stuff. So it can get pretty pricey, man. $6,000 just to get into the stadium. That's a $10,000 trip all day.
We've probably talked about this on a previous show, but no one's listened to that. So who cares? Where are you at on Super Bowl Sunday versus Super Bowl Saturday night? Would you be pro Super Bowl Saturday night if that could be a thing? Or are you a traditionalist and you want your Super Bowl on a Sunday?
Yeah, I'll take it on a Saturday. I don't have to work on Sundays. I always have to work on Monday. I know they're trying to fix it so that, and it's going to happen probably in the next year, where the Monday after is President's Day. A lot of people are off. Schools are closed. Banks are closed, things like that. I still work on President's Day, so it's not going to really have an effect on me. I'm used to it being on a Sunday. The good thing is, with the NFL, at least, they haven't gone the way of the NBA and Major League Baseball and start the Super Bowl at 8:30 at night. At least they haven't gone that far. It starts at 6:40. Typically, it's over by 10:30. It's reasonable. Now, if you want to go to a Super Bowl party, I have this dilemma all the time, too. If I want to bring the wife and kids, then usually what we do, we watch the halftime show, and we hit the road. I'm usually on the road during the third quarter, come back home, watch the fourth. Or if not, a couple years ago, I just went on my own to my buddy's house, left them there. I stayed for the whole game, take an Uber. And you still just got to power through Monday. I mean, I've never been hungover on a Monday before. Come on, who are you talking to? It won't be my first, won't be my last. So I'll deal with it for tradition's sake. But if you want to move it to Saturday, I'm not going to argue with you either.
Yeah, I think I read someplace, I don't know if it's still true post-pandemic, that Super Bowl Monday was the most called out day of work throughout the entire year. So that's the day most people call into work or don't show up to work for whatever reason. I think Saturday night would be really interesting because then you could have a blow-up Super Bowl party. You could have events leading to it all day. I think that would be, to your point, then you have all day Sunday to kind of rest, relax, recover, probably sit around and watch highlights of the Super Bowl on the ESPNs and the NFL networks of the world. I think Saturday makes a lot. If you want to do that pro football enshrinement thing before the game or something on the field, I think they could put together a really cool package. I know the tradition of Sunday is Sunday, but I think this is the one time I think it'd be super pro Saturday Super Bowl if that was an option.
Or we just need to come together as a country and declare the Monday after the Super Bowl a national holiday. Everybody's off. Right now I get 6 days off. I get Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July. Throw in Super Bowl Monday, make it a 7th day, and we're all happy.
I don't know. This tweet just called to me. I have no idea why. I'm going to read this one to you, Mike. This comes courtesy of Mike Golick Jr. I think I'm going to make some buffalo chicken dip. Does that belong on Twitter or does that belong in the crapper? I don't think I've ever had buffalo chicken dip. Have you?
I'm sure I probably have, but tweets like this they always throw me off.
Okay. People
just putting their random thoughts out there. That doesn't belong on Twitter. I've seen a lot of our friends, of the followers of the show, just throw random thoughts into the air. Like I mentioned last week, I'm thinking about taking a nap. Go take a nap. Nobody's stopping you. Did you need a vote? Did you need approval from the rest of the people on Twitter to do that? Those tweets I don't get. I'm thinking about making buffalo chicken sauce. Go ahead, buddy. Go. Who's stopping you? Does he need a recipe? What's he fishing for here? I don't get it. Did you freeze on me? I think Adam froze on me. Now, this is something we were not planning on when we do this show live like this. If he goes out, what do? Normally, I have Trace here to lean on, and now it's just me. I'll give him a minute here because I don't know what to do. If I sign out and he's out, then the show may come to an end, and we have no way of starting it back up again. I don't know really what to tell you. I can tell you again that I tried the Manscaped razor earlier today. Fantastic. The feature on this thing that I didn't have in any other razors, it has a light on it. So when you are, cleaning up down there, you can see exactly what you're doing. I like that aspect of it. I don't know if Adam's ever going to join us again, so who knows how long this thing is going to last here. Also gives me an opportunity to think of a cow of the week, which I am not prepared for, and don't tell Adam. And normally we take a break in between segments, and I ask him who my Cal of the Week should be. I don't have one. I don't know if we're even going to take breaks. Maybe that's what he finally signed off now for, is to figure out who the Cal of the Week should be for me. I'm not sure. And I don't know how much longer I can filibuster here. So what I should do is, here he is. Thank goodness, man, because I was running out of stuff.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to figure out what that 10 minutes was like.
Oh, man. I did another Manscaped promo. I started talking about that again.
Okay, great.
And I really didn't know. I thought maybe you left to go find me a Cal of the Week, because I really am not prepared for that segment here either. So
I think I've got a couple Cal of the Week options for you. I'll just run through them for you when we get to that point, Mike. I think what I've got to figure out, though, is do people like this format at this point, right? So we're about 50 minutes in. Spoiler alert, it doesn't look like Jemias Pittman is going to be joining us on this particular episode, as he's not responded, Mike. So it's he joins an illustrious list of people who have not shown up for a show. I know it's a pretty good list. Oh no,
top 5. I got
nice
a top 5.
Okay,
top 5 list of guests who said they were going to be on the Sons of UCF show and never showed up. Now this is
groundbreaking. We don't talk about this stuff very often. This is behind the scenes. We try to protect the anonymity of these guys. They're very good to us. We've had a lot of players treat us very nicely, give their time away. We typically don't want to call guys out. So I present to you UCF Mike's top 5 list.
And I just thought of another one that I thought of earlier today. Now I just popped back in my head. So now I've got a list here of about 6 or 7. I'm going to have to narrow this to 5.
You can do some ties. I mean, it's not unprecedented.
All right. So I'm going to go right now. Number 5, today's guest, Jemias Pittman. You know, we were scheduled to do this last night. We set the whole thing up. We were about to do it. We got him on screen. He was in his car. And I don't know what happened. He said his phone died. You couldn't really see him. We saw him for about half a second. Rescheduled to tonight, and now he's not showing. He's number 5 on the list of no-shows.
Yeah, it's a double no-show. That's interesting how you scored that, because that's a double no-show. Some of these guys are single no-shows, double no-show for Jemias. But hopefully we'll catch up with him soon. He seems like a really nice guy, by the way, at least via text.
Right. Number 4, Terence Plummer. Terence Plummer is another guy we were talking to that was in his car at the time and driving. I think he was in the middle of Georgia somewhere, and maybe just completely lost reception. We started talking to him for about a minute. That didn't last long. He did make up for it, though. He came back on the show. We did a full interview with him. It was probably almost a year later at that point when we did that. But he was on the show, and he wasn't when he bailed on us the first time.
He was on the show, but he wasn't. Yes, the story there, I think we actually recorded about, I don't know, a couple minutes with him, and then his phone died. And he sent us a message, and he said something to the effect of, let me get to an area where I have better service. I'll call you back. And he still never called us back. We actually reached back out to him to come on the live show. So Terence Plummer, although a really nice guy, a great interview. I think that's on one of the more recent episodes. I should have that number in front of me. I don't. But if you want to go back and take a look at it, Terence Plummer, fantastic interview.
Number 3, this guy, I spoke to him personally on the phone. I texted with him back and forth. He said he wanted to do the show. And then something came up where he wasn't sure if he wanted to do it. And his name is Darren Hinshaw.
Oh,
Darren Hinshaw, a couple years ago, I guess at this point, in the offseason, I reached out to him. He was with Kentucky still.
Wasn't this in the transition between him coming to UCF?
Just before that. So before that, he was still at Kentucky. You know, I just reached out to him because he's a historic player in UCF history. I wanted to talk to him. I think we had just had his brother on right before that for the 20th anniversary of the Alabama game. So, Hinshaw's got a great career at UCF. I wanted to get him on, and he said he would do it. He said, you got to go through the PR person at Kentucky. I went through her. The lady said, fine, okay, we're going to do it. He wanted to do it. Then the UCF job opened up, and he wanted to get hired as the UCF head coach. He said, I'm going to hold off on it for now. When things settle down or whatever, I'll promise you I'll come back on. He didn't get the job. Talked to him later. Yeah. He said he's going to do it. And then one day he was, I guess, not feeling. I forget what the second excuse was. He wasn't feeling well. Then he came on staff, and I didn't even ask him then because you figure we got to jump through more hoops. And now he's gone again. So Darren Hinshaw, maybe one day we'll have him on. We did have his brother Tyson, who was awesome during that 20th anniversary show.
Okay. Is that one more personal to you because you booked him? I feel like
I don't book
because you led with that. That was like clearly a scar you still carry with you.
I've had how many guests have we had on this show total? 100? Close to?
Yeah, sure.
Right around there. We've had 166 episodes, maybe 80, 90 guests, basically.
80 to 100, somewhere in there, yeah.
Right. I've booked about 6 of them, right? And that would have been number 7.
Can I get Mike's top 5 guests he's booked or next week?
Bo Clark, number 1. Well, number 5. Dexter Lyons, for sure, is up there.
Yeah.
George O'Leary, the second time. That was me.
Okay. Yeah, you were 2.
Those 3 off the top of my head.
Schneider?
Brian Schneider. Schneider's a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know who the 5th one was. Maybe it would have been Darren Hinshaw if he would have made the show. He didn't. So what was that? That was number 3 on the no-shows, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Number 2, no-show. Darcy Johnson. And I don't even know if it's completely his fault. We've told this story here before.
It's not his fault.
He was supposed to be on the show, and then we bumped him for George O'Leary, and we didn't know we were getting George till late that day or whatever it was, and you broke the news.
Second George. That's your second George. Yeah. So this is clearly our fault. We've told this story before, but we booked Darcy. I worked through his foundation. We sent the dates and times, and they were like, "Yeah, Darcy would love to come on. Give us the details." I gave him the details and did not hear back. Did not know that was an acceptance. So we were scrambling the day up because they hadn't responded to emails to follow up and confirm. You on a whim were like, give me GOL's number. I'll call him. Call George. He was like, cool. What time do you need me? We were like, oh my goodness, second episode for GOL. This is fantastic. So literally like 8:30 we record usually. We're waiting for George to call us. Or I think we're going to call him. I thought we were going to call him actually. And like 8:28, my phone rings. It's a 407 number. And I'm like, I thought we were calling him. Like, okay, whatever. I open the phone. And it, of course, is Darcy Johnson. And he's like, hey, I'm here for the interview. And I was like, oh, yeah, look, scheduling conflict. Something came up like, can we maybe get you in an hour or maybe we can do this tomorrow? And he politely decided that he did not like the way that we did business around here and would not like to come on the show.
Yeah.
I followed up in an email, though. To be fair, I followed up in an email, apologized again for the mix-up, let him know that, clearly our fault and we were sincerely apologetic for it, invited him back anytime he wanted to. And I think the response back is, I'll pass.
Yeah, Darcy, man. One of the few UCF Knights that went on to play for my Giants. I think it was there the year they won the Super Bowl in 2007. So would have been nice to get him on. Maybe in the future we'll work things out. We'll have to settle in an actual
You want to try again? Should we try again?
One day.
One day. Okay. Too soon.
Right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And the number 1 guest that was supposed to appear on the Sons of UCF show but never did. I can't say never because he was a guest once, but I hyped up Jeff Godfrey coming on the live show last year. And I know you never like to do it. You never like to announce who's going to be on the show because of situations exactly like this. You think somebody's going to be on. They end up not coming on. It's only happened a handful of times. But Godfrey for sure was going to come on. I was posting Godfrey videos the day before, got pictures. Number 2's coming on. And I figured we already had a relationship with him because he was the first ever guest we've had on this show. The first interview we ever did, Jeff Godfrey. What was that, episode like 32, 33,
21.
way back when.
21.
Wow. Even further back than that. So I thought he was coming on, and he never showed up on the live show. We had a Have You Seen Me missing poster of Jeff Godfrey for weeks. As a running joke on the Sons of UCF Live show. And actually, I don't even think it was Sons of UCF Live at that time. It might have just been the pregame shows.
Yeah, it was the early iteration. It was the pregame variety.
Mm-hmm. So he's number 1 on the list of guys that we're supposed to be on, but we're not on.
You said you had like 6 or 7, though. Are we got honorable mentions? Or are we keeping those guys off?
Yeah, I got well, I mean, you said not to name. We don't like to name names around here. I got a couple other guys that I can remember. CJ Muncherson, I believe, was supposed to be on the show at one point.
TJ Muncherson.
Oh, TJ Muncherson. Maybe that's why he's not on the show. I call him the wrong name.
Could have done it. Yeah, that could have done it.
Eric Gilliard, I believe, was supposed to be on once and never showed.
Yeah, Eric Gilliard's a recent one that we thought we had and changed his mind at the last minute, unfortunately.
Right. So, things happen, especially when you're dealing with it. We're not a high budget show. We're not paying these guys to come on. They're coming on their own time, and they're doing us a favor. We're doing them a favor, depending on how the way you look at it. And, sometimes things just don't work out. Sometimes schedules get in the way and things happen. I thought for sure we were going to speak into Jemias Pittman tonight, and it turns out we're not. But what can you do? Hey, look, we still killed an hour show here. We're still doing the regular show.
We killed something, yeah. Something's been killed.
A couple of minutes there on my own was a little scary, but other than that, we've been good.
No, I can't wait to hear that. I'm not editing that out. That is staying in the entire show, 1,000%. No matter what you do, Mike. Do we want to read any more tweets? I feel like we've exhausted some of the tweets here that we've gone through. But you mentioned cow of the week. We normally would do cow of the week here. I don't know if you have a cow prepared. I've got some options if you want to start doing multiple choice options for you. If you want to go through some of the bigger stories that have taken place, some of the bigger cow moments. Are you prepared for some of these? Here we go.
For those that don't know, this is how we usually do it during the commercial break.
You just don't hear it this way. Yeah.
Right. So who should I pick as cow?
So we've got Adam Schefter / Tom Brady. Schefter said Brady retired on Saturday. Brady was like, I didn't really retire on Saturday. Schefter kept insisting he retired on Saturday. And then today we learned that Tom Brady retires. Mike, anything of that cow of the week worthy for you?
If anything, I'm thinking maybe Brady is the cow on this one. I mean, okay. Schefter's just hearing the news. It's his job to report it. Brady, don't let it out there. If you know how these guys are, they're vultures. As soon as you leak it to one person, it's going to be out there. He wanted to probably do it during this week, the bye week before the Super Bowl, or maybe he wanted to wait till after the Super Bowl. But if you don't want it out there, I'm sure there's ways you can control it not getting out there. So I think this one's on Brady, if anything.
Okay. All right. So we feel good about that one. Next up, Mike, you may know the Washington football team. I believe it's tomorrow, actually. They are preparing to announce their new nickname. Obviously, they've been the football team for a couple of years. It's been shrouded in secrecy, except for this evening when a news helicopter flew over the stadium, zoomed in on like the little corridor hallway, and the word Commanders is clearly on the wall there of the corridor hallway of the Washington now football team, maybe soon to be Commanders, Mike. So cow of the week, I don't know if it's a Washington football team for putting the logo all over the stadium the night before, assuming no one ever figured it out. It's cow of the week, the news helicopter zooming in, ruining the surprise. Does anybody get cow of the week honors from you on this one?
Ooh, I guess it's the Washington team themselves. I mean, you got to figure there's going to be spies out there. The age of the drone, they flew a drone over this thing. A helicopter, you said?
Yeah, it's like a news helicopter, right? And they just kind of zoom in on the like the glass around the stadium, kind of like the concourse area.
Maybe they did that just to throw people off. Maybe that's just a temporary sign that they just put up there.
Wow.
Possible. And then if that's the case,
Dan Snyder is that creative? There's no way that's possible.
If that's the case, then the helicopter people are the cows. If not, then it's got to be the Washington team. I was talking to my buddy Rick, that's a big Indians fan. Well, now the Guardians.
Guardians, buddy. Guardians, get it right.
He said, how funny would it be if the Washington football team came out and changed their name to Indians? I got a chuckle out of that.
All right, here's your next one, Mike. This is news that came out today on Tuesday. Former Dolphins coach Brian Flores filed a lawsuit against the NFL and some teams for hiring practices. In there, he included some screenshots of a text message exchange between him and Bill Belichick, where Belichick says to him, I'll paraphrase some of this, congratulations, I hear you're the guy for the job. Flores says, what are you talking about? Belichick responds back, Giants, like exclamation point. Flores responds back and says, I interviewed with them on Thursday. What have you heard? Belichick responds and says, I hear from people at the Bills and the Giants that you're their guy. Flores says, great, that's good to hear. I hope I get a chance. And then the next text is, wait a minute, are you talking about Brian Flores or Brian Daboll? There's a 2-hour delay. Belichick gets back with a text and says, my bad, I bleeped that up. I got my text confused. Looks like they're going with Brian Daboll. So Belichick incorrectly texted the wrong Brian and broke the news to Brian Flores that he wasn't going to be the head coach of the Giants that Brian Daboll was. So is Bill Belichick a cow of the week candidate?
Oh, definitely. Belichick is one. And we've all had this situation when you got a couple different text groups going at the same time. You got to be very careful, man. You send the wrong text to the wrong person. I've seen bad things come out of that. People take things the wrong way. You send a message to somebody who wasn't supposed to see it. You can start a lot of trouble that way. So Belichick's definitely a cow. But, these other teams, the Giants may be cows in this situation too. I mean, they're already putting out there that they're hiring Daboll without actually ever interviewing Flores. That's a problem. And it's something that we know happens. These NFL teams know who they're going to hire before they conduct any of these interviews. Very rare is it that they have the interview and they say, oh, my God, this guy really blew us away. Actually, I think that is what happened with the Giants with Joe Judge, because I don't think they thought he was going to be the guy. But this is a problem, man. This is going to be a big issue here. Flores has some real evidence, that the Belichick was in contact with these guys, and they made the decision before even interviewing them. You've got the Rooney Rule out there. This could be a big problem for the Giants. Could be a big problem for a lot of teams. So
here's the scoreboard. Here's the scoreboard. Belichick's given the Giants 2 Super Bowls, but the Giants in return have gotten Joe Judge and now a lawsuit courtesy of Bill Belichick. Who's winning that battle? The Super Bowls, I assume, correct?
Yeah, the Super Bowls are something you can never take away. Those, especially the 2 that he won. I remember those are mine as a kid, young kid, 6 years old, 10 years old. The second one against the Bills, that one of my favorite sports memories of all time. So I love Belichick for that. But I was never a fan of taking guys off his tree. They never seem to work out, and that happens a lot too. Sometimes the great coaches are that for a reason, and they can refill with a lot of assistant coaches. You see Saban doing it all the time now in college. So I'm not a fan of just going after a guy because he worked for Belichick makes him a good candidate.
Quickly, have you ever sent the wrong text to the wrong person?
I'm sure I have. I don't think I've done it.
Nothing memorable?
Nothing too bad. So that's good. I do try to check every once in a while before I send something.
I had a recent coworker of mine who was we were in a text string talking about our boss and something he was doing, and we were just essentially venting, and he was just lighting our boss up. And apparently during that same text string, our boss texted him a question, and he wrote back with what the bleep is he doing? Like, he's completely off his mind. Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm done with him. And then he had to try to unravel that and make it seem like he was talking about something else. Allegedly, our boss fell for it. I'm not really sure, but that's one that could have gotten. That's one of my bigger fears in life is I'm going to do the wrong text string to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why they say honesty is the best policy. If you don't lie to people and you just tell everybody the way it is, you got nothing to worry about. Right? If you're talking about people behind their back.
Let me just get into it really quickly. So you're sending me a text message about how smoking hot this girl is over here, and that goes to your wonderful wife instead of me. You're walking in like, but honey, she's hot.
I mean, if I just talking about how hot somebody is, that's not my wife's not going to take issue with that. If anything, she may get turned on by it. You gotta know your wife.
Speaking of which, manscaped.com / Sons of UCF.
No, if I said, I did something with somebody, then there's an issue. There's something. Okay. That again goes back to the lying. Don't lie. You'll be okay.
So you're going honesty in that one. Okay. All right. Fair enough, Mike. Here's the last cow of the weekend trade. I think this one may be the winner for you. I know these have been some good ones so far, but I think this one's going to get you. It has officially been announced today, or it's been announced, I guess, last week, that the UCF Alumni Association is going to re-engage the 5K race for the year. So the 2022 race is on. It's a virtual race again this year. Dates are set. Medals are released. For those who don't, Mike's got his behind in their minds around here somewhere, although he did not run last year. So Mike, if you're not familiar, had the best time of our Sons of UCF group. He was the champion, the winner of the best time last year. So Mike retweeted, or someone retweeted, that the race was on again this year, and Mike essentially was asking people who was going to come in second. And your guy Barry Addict on Twitter came at you and said, He's been waiting for this moment. He's ready to go. He is calling you out. He's got a score to settle, Mike. Barry Addict looking to settle a score with you in the 5K race. He's ready to call you out. Is Barry Addict cow of the week worthy for coming at the king here of the 5K?
Yeah, he's not a cow yet. I welcome the challenge. I know he's been thinking about this. He's been dreaming about it for the last year now. He's been losing sleep over it. He lost to me, along with the rest of you guys. There were about 30 people in the Sons of UCF group, and I came out on top. He's not a cow, but if he's going to challenge me, and I beat him again, then he becomes one. And I've met this guy. I met him at the BYU the bowl game, right? The Boca Bowl. We met him for a minute. Yep. He seems like he's in good shape. And I got to be honest, if we ran this race today, he'll probably beat me. And you know what I did? I ran out and ran a 5K this afternoon after work today to see where my time would be right now. And I'm not close to where I was last year. I'm a couple of minutes off of my pace last year, but that's to be expected. football season is just now ending. We're not even after the Super Bowl yet, right? That's when I really start kicking the things into gear. My training has taken a big hit during football season, always does. I'm in the best shape of the year right around Labor Day, right as football season starts. Right now, I'm in the worst shape of the year. We just got through all the holidays and all that stuff, but I've got 3 months now to train. I'm looking to at least beat my score from last year. And if I do that, I should be able to retain my championship here. And unless Barry Addict comes up with a much better score than he did last year, I don't think I beat him by that much. So he was in the neighborhood. I think he might have been second in our group. So,
I don't remember. Yeah. I just saw him recently at Lazy Moon, where I got to tell you, Mike, I think he had a Diet Coke. He was serious about his training. But the race is April 23rd through May 1st. So those are the dates. So you have a bunch of months now to train. You were what, 23 minutes? Was that your time?
23:55.
Okay. So I don't know. I forget where Barry Addict is. I have no idea how to look that up. And I probably won't. So Barry, if you're listening, maybe you can actually, his real name is not Barry, by the way. I feel bad. I think his name is Sebastian. But if you want to let us know what your time is, Mike is definitely ready. As Barry says, he's got some unfinished business with UCF, Mike. So
like I said,
but
I ran today.
Yeah,
time was 26:26.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm gonna knock a couple minutes off that too. So
we have no doubt.
I want to get it under 23 this year. If I can do that, then I'll be happy with it.
Whoa! Yeah, shave off 55 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's good.
I mean, I've got 3 months to go, and I really after the Super Bowl, that's when I stop eating all the junk. Maybe cut back on the beers on the weekend. So it's possible. 3 months of training, I think it could happen.
Well, again, we're going to try to get a Sons of UCF group efforted again this year. Mike's already been in contact with the good folks to get the wheels in motion. So we had a lot of fun last year. We gave away, I think, hats last year. I don't think we have any of those left, but maybe we'll come up with some other good prizes, although we haven't given away the last prizes for the last 2 contests we've done. So we certainly owe you guys all of that stuff there, Mike. But 23rd through the 1st, always a good time. The medal looks pretty cool. I think it's on Twitter if you go search for it. It's Nitro chasing the Citronaut. So JP Gilbert must be pretty excited about all that. So it's a pretty good event, Mike. And I don't know. Barry's coming for you. It's all again. We don't even know. We didn't know. Maybe this year a better lead up. Maybe we get some professional runners in here. I don't. You talk some trash. The opening to the show is you letting Renaya Jones know that you were the 5K champion. I know she's busy. She's got other things, other events. I mean, if we start bringing out some heavy hitters here, I don't know, Mike. Ryan O'Keefe wants in on this. You might have some problems.
Yeah, this is not a 100-yard dash. I have no doubt O'Keefe can beat me in that. Now, I've never been a fantastic runner. In fact, if we ran this thing last year and you were healthy, I was scared of you beating me. I think you probably could beat me. So I got my championship while I could. To go back to back is tough. Not too many people can do that 2 years in a row.
Here we go.
I'm going to start getting in. Don't worry, I'm not going to make excuses though. I'm going to train for this thing. I'll be ready. Now, will our friend Trace choose not to run again? That's the question, because he's the one that started the trash talking last year. He trash talked me. He said, "Oh, I've run one of these things before. I know I could beat you." Well, he used Jan and Britt as a crutch to not have to run last year. Even though the competition lasts a week, he could do it another day and just run on his own. He chose not to. Let's see what he chooses to do this year. But last year I think I said about 30 people in the UCF Sons of UCF group. Let's try to double that. Let's try to get 50 at least.
Yeah,
50, 60 people. I think we can pull that off. That's good for the school. It's a good charity event. I believe it costs like $20, $25, but you get the medal, you get a T-shirt, you get bragging rights if you can somehow beat me. It's a fun thing, and it'll get you in shape, man. And I think we all need that at this time after football season. Get back in shape for the summer because it's going to be beach season, pool season. Get ready for those bathing suits. Might as well start training with us.
Sounds out, guns out. Yeah, I need Ryan O'Keefe. I need Jalen Robinson out there. I need some. I feel like Cam Good has probably got some low key 5K type speed in him. I need Cam Good out there. We'll see if we can get a handful of people. Again, it was a lot of fun last year, and so hopefully we'll get some people to join up this year. Mike, this show has been a lot of fun. Jemias Pittman's still not with us, by the way. He's not responded to text messages, so there's a live update for you on Jemias Pittman. I'm sure he's busy. Something came up. It's going to happen, Mike. But you're going to see Mike and I again tomorrow night. So this is Tuesday. If you're watching this, we're going to be on Wednesday in the live show. Again, this will be in your podcast feed as always. So make sure that you download, subscribe, rate, review, do all that good stuff. Follow us on social media. Mike's at UCF Mike One. Trace is at Signpez. Sons of UCF everywhere you do that stuff. TwoNightsMedia.com. Be in the lookout for some Manscaped stuff. Again, that's coming soon. So excited about that partnership. We have a couple of cool deals we can offer our listeners as well, Mike. A lot going on, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we're like a real show, man. We got a website.
Yeah.
We're on every social media thing. We've got real sponsors, so this is getting to be exciting times here around Sons of UCF. We've been doing it for a long time now. Maybe we'll start finally seeing some payoff on this thing.
Real Paper and Lace isn't a real sponsor?
I've never charged my sister $1 for any of these
poor
things.
Michelle. Man, I mean, she just got taken to the woodshed on that one. Jeez.
Never asked her for a cent.
Family
just
violence.
trying to help her out, and I think it's worked out. So a couple of people have reached out to her. So we'll continue to do that.
It is the 1 year anniversary of the website, though. I got a notification the other day that our 1 year anniversary on the website is there. So we posted 2 articles the first week and haven't posted one since. So maybe one of these days, but it's a beautiful website. All of our content's on there. If you want to ever see any old videos, old interviews, all that stuff's there. All the YouTube stuff, Mike. The YouTube subscriptions have been up, by the way, and a big thanks to everybody out there. We've increased a pretty good amount. Trace actually sent it to me yesterday. Let me effort this for you. We are up about 80 people in the last month. So 80 new subscribers in the last 30 days. I'd love to continue to get that a little higher. You're going to find interviews with Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin on there. You're going to find some of the one-on-ones we did on the Sons of UCF Live. You're going to find some of these interviews that we've done on the most recent shows, Austin Camden, Josh McMullen's on there, Javier Berlegui. You're going to find a lot of good stuff on there, plus all the live shows. So a lot of good content. Don't want to miss all that. Go to Sons of UCF YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe. You never know what's going to pop up. This will be on the YouTube channel. You might want to delete this one, though. We might. But make sure you subscribe to that Sons of UCF YouTube.
And we only need about 9,500 more of you, and we get tattoos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I did biceps today, Mike. I was ready I did biceps in case you guys want to scope out the tat, but apparently, you guys aren't ready out there. Mike and I are ready. Trace isn't ready, of course, but Mike's training to get the beach spot. I'm trying to get a good spot for the ink, and no one's ready for us. Maybe
a face tattoo, Mike Tyson style. Maybe a neck tattoo, something like that. Something you put out there.
Face tattoo seems excessive. Not gonna lie to you. I'm not a huge fan of needles. I don't dislike them. I don't run from them, but them on my face is typically something I try to avoid.
Especially for your first tattoo. I don't think your first tattoo typically goes on your face. So.
Yeah. You know what?
Somewhere we could hide it a little.
That's a very fair point. Is that professional these days? I don't know what to do with that kind of information. It's hard to really say that. Anyways, well, thanks for watching, listening, and tuning in. Again, a bit of a different show. Hopefully, let us know if you guys like this style of show. I don't know if Mike and I will commit to doing this every week, video-wise. There's some logistical challenges with adding sound effects and all other stuff that make it a little different. But if people are into watching us do this train wreck for some reason, we are more than happy to make a consideration on that. So let us know if you enjoyed that. Appreciate everyone for listening. Thursday live show is Wednesday, so don't be late on that one. Mike, he's got his medal ready to go, and that's a wrap on 167, Mike.
All right, yeah, guys, I'm going to give you more information on how to sign up for the Sons of UCF group when I get it. So join the race that way. Keep following us on all these platforms, and if you didn't get enough of us tonight, you'll get some more of us tomorrow, and that should last you through the weekend, I hope. Yeah, I'm sick of me already. But until we see everybody, have a fantastic, tomorrow. Go Knights.